Hello there guys, Alex here bringing you part 6 of What If Deku Had Cataclysm. So before I continue, I want to quickly make, announce that, next part probably Mayor of Jiro or, I don't know, Recover Ghost Grandson. I'm sorry, I keep jerking all of you around with that one, but it's like, I really got nothing for it, I'll be real honest with you. And in this case, I've also been trying to, on my end, get some equipment for my setup. I'm still trying to get it to look more better than what it is right now. And also, a word from our sponsor, Epically Shop. And without further ado, let's begin. Where we last left off, after the events of the internship program and the Stain arc, Izawa entered the classroom. Izawa saying, "Great, a lot of you survived your internships," as he started glaring at Ina in particular, saying, "With that out of the way, you must put what you've learned into action." The class was confused. Izawa sighing, saying, "The final exams are coming up. Be prepared." That said, the class was pretty much sighing in relief, except those that have low grades like Mina, Kirishima, Kaminari, and some others. They were ready to complain. Before the students could make their thoughts known, the door suddenly burst open with a lady with green hair searching the class and demanding where her kitten was, while Izawa was facepalming. Izawa was saying, "You do know that you could have just knocked on the door, Miss Joke." Miss Joke saying, "Oh, hey Izawa, I thought you preferred this instead of a knock-knock joke." Izawa, giving her a deadpan look, would say, "What are you doing here, anyways? Don't you have students to teach?" Miss Joke saying, "Well, excuse me, it's my day off, and I wanted to visit my little kitten. Speaking of which," as she started looking at the classroom, "Where is he?" Izawa facepalming saying, "Why don't you look up at the ceiling?" Miss Joke looked only to see Izuku hanging upside down from the ceiling. Miss Joke saying, "Hey little Izuku, what are you doing way up there?" The entirety of Class 1A and Izawa just face-palmed. After Izuku got down from the ceiling, he hugged Miss Joke. Miss Joke saying, "Hey Izawa, mind if I take Izuku with me a bit so we can catch up?" Izawa saying, "As long as you get out of my class, do what you must." Miss Joke with anime tears would say, "Ouch, Izawa, that hurts my felines. About all those times we spent together, did they mean nothing to you?" Izawa glaring at her saying, "No." Miss Joke laughing saying, "Oh wow, Izawa, you certainly grow cold." "Oh well." As she started to look to Izuku while grabbing his arm, "Let's go, kitty. I have some students of mine that wish to meet you." Izuku saying, "Why would they want to meet meow?" Before Izuku could finish his sentence, he was dragged out of the class on a high note, leaving the entire class confused as they gave Izawa a weird look implying, "What the fuck was that?" Izawa, staring at the class, would say, "Why are you looking at me like that? If you're wondering if he'll be back, okay, don't bother me. Because of that, I have no answer." Almost saying, "Then why let him be taken away like that?" Izawa saying, "Miss Yagirozu, I'm sure the Principal Nezu spoke with a lot of you regarding his situation. Am I right?" The class nodded. Izawa saying, "Good. Therefore, I don't need to explain on why." Momo saying, "But Mr. Izawa, it makes no sense. We were told that he has a mental block of sorts, but we weren't told on how or why he has it in the first place." Izawa, a bit irritated, would say, "Miss Yagirozu, as you can tell, it is neither mine nor Principal Nezu's place to say or explain any further. When Izuku will get over this block, he will share it. But until then, deal with it." Momo would say, "But Mr. Izawa." Jiro saying, "Momo, stop insisting. You don't realize how much you, out of all people, hurt him." Momo saying, I made a mistake, and I'm trying to apologize, but you and Bakugo, and not to mention Mina, won't let me. What is up with that? Izawa was saying, enough, the both of you. After the two girls settled down, Izawa would say, good. Now, as I was trying to say before, the final exams are coming up, and just like the entrance exams, it'll have a written portion and a practical portion. Izawa was interrupted by a knock on the door, and he let them in. As the individual would say, sorry if I'm interrupting, but is Izuku here? I would like to speak with him. Izawa was saying, it's you. What was your name again? Marinette saying, oh, you can call me Marinette. Izawa was saying, okay, Marinette, he's not here at the moment. He's been whisked away by a cat burglar, and an obnoxious one, to boot. Marinette saying, I'm afraid I don't follow. Izawa was saying, an old acquaintance of mine took him to socialize. Marinette saying, I see, but isn't it a bit too harsh saying those things to this acquaintance of yours? Izawa was saying, no, especially whenever she's opened her mouth. Only corny jokes or smart remarks come out, and I'm afraid Izuku's following that path. Marinette, recalling the early hero days, saying, I see, I feel your pain. Once upon a time I had to deal with someone similar. But not only were his puns awful, he had to flirt in the middle of a fight. It was always like that, for years. Izawa saying, interesting. And before you leave, I would want to ask you a favor. Marinette saying, sure, I guess. Izawa saying, can you test my students? Marinette saying, I don't mind, but why me? Izawa was saying, I just want my students to improve, and considering you are in your 20s, you could easily inspire these lot. Marinette smirking, saying, is this a challenge, Mr. Izawa? Izawa was smirking, what if it was? Marinette saying, if that were the case, I accept. There's no way I'll back off from a challenge, and just to make it fair, let them use their hero costumes. Izawa grinned, and the lot went to the locker rooms, while Izawa and Marinette were in Training Field Gamma while being transformed. The two heroes discussed on how it would work, and Marinette came up with a solution, and once the students arrived, Marinette explained. Marinette saying, the rules are simple. Mr. Izawa will have a timer, 30 minutes, while the lot of you try to catch me, in whatever way you can. If you manage to catch me, you'll have an easy time for the upcoming final exams, but if none of you are able to catch me, I'll just leave that to your imagination. Right, Izawa? Izawa nodded, and the exercise commenced, and not to dwell on it too much, Class 1A fails, and they had no choice but to agree with the terms, and once Izuku returned, everyone pretty much begged him to help them prepare for the final exams, with him ultimately agreeing to help out his friends. After classes, Momo tried to apologize to Izuku, but when she was about to ask Izuku if they could talk, Katsuki, Jiro, and Mina were there, and Katsuki made sure that Momo wouldn't bother them. But watching this from the background was none other than Marinette. While Izuku and company went to the dorms, Marinette approached Momo. Marinette saying, excuse me, Yarurozu, was it? Momo saying, yes, but please call me Momo. Marinette saying, alright Momo, I've heard from Izuku that you turned him down, and now there's this rift between you. Do you want to talk about it? Momo sighing, saying, no, not really. Marinette saying, come on, maybe it'll help you out. Momo irritated would say, look, I don't know who you are, but I don't need help from a stranger. Marinette saying, you know, you remind me of an old friend of mine. She was socially awkward at first, but after a silly TV program, we became friends. Momo, with her ears perking up, would say, I'm listening. Marinette would say, I thought you didn't need help from a stranger. What happened to that? Momo, embarrassed, would say, Could you please just tell me? Marinette would say, I'm impressed. You act more like Kagami than I thought you did. Marinette zoned out on the mention of Kagami's name. Memories resurfaced from the last time they saw each other, as tears started to swell up. Momo would say, Miss Marinette, are you okay? Marinette, snapping back to reality and drying her tears, would say, sorry, I wonder where that came from. Anyways, as I was trying to say, you should visit his piano room. That's where he mostly hangs out. Momo would say, but he won't even listen if Bakugo, Jiro, or Mina are with him. Marinette would say, oh, he will listen, especially if you use a certain bargaining chip. Momo saying, what's that? Meanwhile, with Izuku and company were studying the entire time, trying to help out Mina and her poor grades. After they were done, Katsuki, Mina, and Jiro walked out, leaving Izuku to his devices inside the piano room, while playing the piano and sleeping Fluffles on top of the piano. Izuku's music was interrupted by a knock on the door, only to reveal Momo. We cut to Jiro for a moment, for she's on her way back to the piano room, for she forgot her school bag, so she's on her way back to the piano room. Izuku, looking away from her, would say, Momo, what are you doing here? Momo saying, I wanted to apologize for everything that happened. Izuku saying, what? Jiro arriving at the piano room, but hears voices, so she decided to eavesdrop. Momo saying, I want to offer this to you. I hear that you like it. Izuku, stuttering, would say, Momo, you see, I think we shouldn't. I wouldn't be able to control myself. While Momo and Izuku spoke, a zipper could be heard unzipping, and Jiro's face became red at the idea. And before things could escalate, Jiro opened the door, shouting like a lunatic for Izuku and Momo to stop whatever they were doing, only for Jiro's earphones jack to betray her, and for the trio to end up in a huge misunderstanding. Izuku is on the ceiling after being startled, and Momo would say, talk about rude, don't you knock? Or that's how you normally enter a room. Jiro, dumbfounded, would say, wait, what's going on here? Momo saying, I was trying to apologize, and the best way to do so was to bring him a luggage filled with camembert, considering that is his favorite. Jiro, confused, favorite? How do you know that? You don't even spend time with him. Momo saying, oh, that. The Marinette lady told me, but that aside, why did you shout for us to stop? It's not like we're doing anything indecent. Jiro, blushing, would say, well, you see, Momo saying, I guess Mineta isn't the only perv in the class, because it seems that you also have your mind in the gutter. Izuku, with anime tears, would say, can I come down now? The two girls looked at Izuku, and they started to laugh, and once the situation calmed down, Momo speaks up. Momo saying, alright Izuku, before I go, I wanted to ask you one last thing. Why were you living on the streets around the time you were 7 to 10 years old? Izuku gulped at the question, saying, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Momo saying, don't lie, Izuku. I had a private eye look into your case, considering what Nezu said was questionable, and there were a lot of holes in the story, but the private eye also came to a dead end, so do you mind filling in those blanks? Izuku saying, Izuku looked around for an escape route, but he couldn't find any. Then he started to tear up. Jiro saying, Momo, why are you so fixated on knowing everyone's business involving a private eye? Really? First you treat him like garbage, then just because you feel guilty you go and dig in his past? And look, you're making him cry. What the hell is wrong with you? Momo saying, I just was curious, that's all. I didn't mean any harm by it. Jiro saying, curiosity? She glanced at Izuku, but she couldn't bring herself to make the pun. Well, you can say you did more than just harm. So if you don't mind, could you leave? I think you did enough for damage for one day. Momo saying, excuse me, who are you to tell me what to do? Jiro saying, unlike you, I'm his friend. And two, it won't take me long to get the principal or any of the other teachers. Momo sighing, saying, fine, I get it. Momo left the piano room, and once Izuku and Jiro were alone, they sat at the piano with barely any words spoken until Izuku spoke up. Izuku saying, Kyoka, can I be alone right now? Jiro saying, if you say so, don't hesitate to give me a call if you need company. With that, Jiro left Izuku to his devices, while Izuku played the piano to soothe his pain, while remembering how his mother died and him running away, and falling asleep without realizing it. Hours passed by. It was the middle of the night, and a knock on the piano room's window could be heard. Izuku was startled, and he saw where the knocking was from. And Izuku went and opened the window. Izuku saying, Marinette, what are you doing here? Marinette saying, I came to look for you. Izuku saying, I mean, why the window? There's a door over there. Marinette saying, I don't think you realize it's the middle of the night. Izuku saying, wait, what? No, wait, when did I? Oh, I see. Marinette saying, spots off! Detransforming and saying, in any case, today I was trying to catch up with you alone so that I can talk to you about something important. Izuku smirking, saying, I'm all ears, while wiggling his cat ears, smirking and putting up a front. What sort of business does a pretty lady such as yourself have with an alley cat such as myself? Marinette and Tiki were chuckling. Marinette chuckling would say, alright, Top Cat, what's wrong? Izuku saying, what? How did you... Marinette saying, I'm almost 175 years old, and besides, nobody knew my partner Cat Noir better than I. And by using his lines, I can tell there's something bothering you. So, care to tell me? Izuku, a bit hesitant, would say, it's about Momo. Marinette saying, what, did she not apologize? Izuku saying, no, she did, but she also got one of those private eyes to dig in my past and search of answers. Marinette saying, oh great, another Chloe Bourgeois 2.0. I just hope that they aren't related. Izuku saying, who's this person? Marinette explained who Chloe is. Izuku saying, I see, I have one question that has been bothering me. Do you have any family, relationship, or anything? Marinette frowned, saying, I don't have any of those anymore. It has been me and Tiki for the longest of time now. I've seen friends and family pass away, and I've also trained heroes and former kwamis, which brings me to what I wanted to ask you. Would you, Izuku Midoriya, take care of Tiki for me? Izuku saying, what do you mean? Marinette saying, I'm asking you to take care of Tiki for me so that I may retire. Izuku saying, I don't mind. I only hope you aren't going to just leave it all to me like your master did to you. Marinette saying, of course I won't. After the final exams, there's going to be a training camp. I'll join on this expedition too. And that's when I'll teach you all that I know, which isn't much actually. And considering you were smarter than I was back in the day, I'm positive it won't take long. Izuku looked sheepishly to the ground as if an unknown question was left unanswered. Marinette, sighing and sitting next to Izuku, would say, oh, no, what is really bothering you? Izuku sarcastically would say, oh wow, once again, you could tell. Marinette would say, I've seen the look on my partner's face countless of times, so I know my way around hopeless kitties. Izuku saying, that's reassuring. The thing that bugs me is my past. I don't want to be reminded of it, yet every time it comes back to haunt me. Marinette would say, why do you think that is? Izuku saying, I don't know, probably my mom hates me, so she's getting revenge? Marinette shaking her head, oh silly kitty, that's not how your mother was. She was a loving mother, and you're trying your very hardest to find a way to take responsibility, even if it means making your mother something that she wasn't. Izuku, somewhat irritated, would say, what do you know how she was? You weren't even here. Marinette saying, simple actually. I spoke to a few people and I saw a pattern similar to mine, and what your doctor told me, it just confirmed my suspicions. Izuku, with tears in his eyes, would say, how can you be so sure? And what sort of suspicions? Marinette would say, you're guilt-tripping yourself. As a reminder of what you've done, nobody blames you, and your mother is no different. The only person that blames you for your mistakes is you yourself. Izuku, confused, would say, okay, now I'm lost. Marinette would say, I'm trying to say is, the only reason on why you have this mental block of yours is because you're scared, you're insecure, and not to mention fixated on taking responsibility for your mother's death. So, Izuku saying, so... Marinette sighing, saying, it means you're running away. Izuku saying, what? Marinette saying again, you heard me, running away. Izuku saying, how can you be so sure? Marinette frowning, saying, because I too was in a similar position. After the wish I made, Tiki was the only kwami Therefore, I was the only one with superpowers until quirks manifested. I couldn't save the love of my life. I was 3 minutes late, and I fell into depression. A lot of stuff happened, but thanks to a very good friend of mine, I was able to find the answer I needed. That said, I really hope that it works for you. Izuku saying, so what's the answer? Marinette chuckling would say, you really are a hopeless kitty, aren't you? The answer is simple, acceptance. By accepting who you are and what you did, you can excel in life, not to mention finally getting rid of the few extra pounds from off your back. Try that, then you'll see how things change. As Marinette, looking at the clock, would say, oh, holy crap, it's late. Kid, you need to go to bed ASAP, otherwise Izawa will be angry at me. Marinette transformed as she leaped out of the window, leaving Izuku to think on what she just told him. Time skip to after the written portion of the final exams. During this small time skip, Izuku, Katsuki, Mina, and Jiro studied, hanged out, and once the day of the written portion, all 4 of them passed with flying colors. Mina, very happy and tearing up, would say, whoa, it's been so long since I passed the test with flying colors. Thank you, Izuku. Izuku saying, sure, don't mention it. Mina, smirking and looking at Jiro. Oh, Izuku, I could almost kiss you for how happy I am. Izuku saying, huh? Jiro saying, what the Mina, leave Izuku alone. Mina smirking, what, do you want to kiss him? Jiro blushing would say, no comment. Katsuki rolling his eyes would say, jeez, stop beating around the bush, would you? If you got something to tell him, just tell him already. Jiro, embarrassed, would say, what, me? No, you got it all wrong. Katsuki saying, suit yourself. Go on, Izuku, let's get ready for the practical. Mina would say, Izuku, wait, I couldn't help but notice. You have a ring on your ring finger. Where did you get that? Izuku would say, Marinette gave it to me. Mina would say, boy, give me the details. Izuku would say, what details? She just gave it to me like that, and that's it. But more importantly, what's wrong with you, Kyoka? Mina inspecting Jiro, and she would say, don't worry about her. The Jiro XC just crashed. It'll probably take a while for it to respond. Izuku confused, what? Katsuki, having enough of what is going on, would say, Izuku, let's get going. Izuku nodded and followed Katsuki. Mina would say, Kyoka, they're gone. Hello? Anybody home? Earth to Kyoka. Houston, I think we got a problem. As she started talking to herself. And I guess there's no other choice. Mina pulled onto Jiro's earphones jacks and inserted them into the ground. She got some books and slammed them to the ground as hard as she could, making Jiro jump in pain. As Jiro's ears aching and anime tears would say, what was that for? Mina would say, well, at least I managed to bring you back from wherever you were. Anyways, we might as well go too. By the way, do you know what the practical exam is? Jiro would say, according to an upperclassman, it's going to be robots from the entrance exam. Mina saying, that's a relief. Jiro saying, but then again, we did lose against Marinette, so probably it would be harder? Mina lamenting, saying, no, I was already imagining passing the exams. As someone would say, Jiro, may I have a word with you? Jiro would say, Momo, what do you want from me? Momo would say, I just wanted to ask you, what sort of relationship do you have with Izuku? Jiro, blushing, would say, me? What are you talking about? As Momo started smirking and would say, I see, so you don't have feelings for him. That makes things easier, I suppose. Jiro, confused, would say, what are you talking about? Momo would say, oh, nothing. Me, just thinking out loud. We better get going and get ready for the practical exam. Momo went ahead, leaving Mina and Jiro to wonder. Once everyone was in the training field Gamma, Class 1A was greeted by the teachers and Principal Nezu. Nezu would say, alright students, for the practical portion of the final exams, you'll be confronting your teachers in teams of 2. Marinette, panicking, would say, oh, what about the robots? Are we supposed to face robots? Why are we facing pro heroes? Nezu would say, normally you would have been right, but considering you had a wager with Mr. Izawa, and Mr. Izawa, would you be so kind in explaining the details of the wager you had with your class? Izawa annoyed would say, fine. Since a lot of you lost against Marinette, we decided to make the practical portion of the exam a lot harder. And here we are. As everyone were getting worried on what to do, Nezu told who will be facing who, and what they must do. The team-ups are... Team 1, Ojiro and Kirishima versus Cementos. They pass. Team 2, Todoroki and Tokoyami versus All Might. Fail. Team 3, Ida and Sato versus Ectoplasm. They pass. Team 4, Jiro and Yaoyorozu versus Eraserhead. They fail. Team 5, Uraraka and Aoyama versus 13. They pass. Team 6, Koda and Kendo versus Nezu. They fail. Team 7, Ashiro and Asui versus President Mike. They pass. Team 8, Kaminari and Shoji versus Snipe. They pass. Team 9, Mineta and Zero versus Midnight. They pass. Team 10, Midori and Bakugo versus Ladybug. Results unknown. So the fights would play out like this. Team 1, Ojiro and Kirishima. To make this round short, they pass. Team 2, Todoroki and Tokoyami, they fail due to All Might overpowering them. Team 3, Ida and Sato, they pass. Team 4, Jiro and Yaoyorozu, they fail due to the fact that they can't get along. Team 5, Uraraka and Aoyama, they passes in the anime. Ochako was asked something else about Aoyama, and the result turned out as in the anime. Team 6, Koda and Kendo, they fail. I mean, nobody wins versus Nezu. Team 7, Ashiro and Asui, they pass. Team 8, Kaminari and Shoji, they pass. Team 9, Mineta and Zero, they passes in the anime. And Team 10, Midori and Bakugo. Izuku and Katsuki got ready, and they strategized a perfect plan. The two kept Marinette on her toes, and once she got distracted, Izuku catapulted Katsuki, and making a howitzer impact towards Marinette. But when Katsuki was about to make contact, a portal appeared and a young man in his teens appeared out of nowhere and kicked Katsuki to the ground. As the individual would say, "Yo, LB, are you okay? It seems I arrived at the nick of time. That guy was about to hurt you." Marinette would say, "Pegasus, what in the world are you doing here?" Pegasus would say, "Everyone was looking for you after we saw you on the news." Marinette, sighing, would say, "Pegasus, no they weren't. I already told the others where I was and what I was doing, so don't lie to me, mister." Pegasus would say, Okay, I was worried. Why you never told me anything?" Marinette would say, 1, it's not your place to question where I go or what I do. 2, I need you to go back immediately. Pegasus would say, "No, LB. Why can't I stay with you?" Marinette would say, "Pegasus, you're not allowed to stay here. Not only did you interrupt the exam of these two boys, but you're also making a scene in a different country." Pegasus would say, "But I..." Marinette would say, "Pegasus, do as you were told, or I'll tell Shen, and you know how he can be especially with perfection." Pegasus, sweating bullets, would say, Okay, I'm sorry, but please don't tell Mr. Long." Marinette would say, "Then you know what to do." Pegasus opened a portal and vanished. Marinette would say, "Now, where were we?" Izuku and Katsuki were confused on what happened, just like everybody else, but Izuku and Katsuki resumed their exam, and they passed. Once the exams were over, Jiro, Izuku, Katsuki, and Mina went for lunch, and on their way to the cafeteria, Momo stopped them, asking to speak with Izuku and Jiro, but Katsuki didn't budge. Momo sighed and gave Izuku a peck on the lips, shocking the group, but most of all, Izuku. And to be continued. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this part, and I appreciate you guys for your patience. Like I said, I'll try uploading probably, I don't know if there's a whole Recovery Girls grandson, whichever I can, to be honest. I'll see what we can do. And I apologize for, again, the lack of updates. I'm just not feeling it when I get off of work. It's a hassle. Just out of the public transport is like a pain in the ass, both figuratively and and literally. So yeah, And again, I hugely thank my Patreon supporters for helping with, with everything that has been going on and, understanding my situation. I'll try to upload when I can. I have more free time. Because usually when I got my days off is just Saturday. So yeah, basically almost no other day. So I'll try about seeing and uploading some artwork eventually again. And again, thank you to them. I have here Will Finister, Mitchell, Cameron Doyle, Pink Saber, John Miller, Supreme Spider-Man 578, Derek Hawkins, and Asabel. Again, huge thanks to them for supporting the channel. I wish you, I thank all of you. I really appreciate the support, and I'll try my best to upload in a timely manner, preferably, on a weekly basis at least. So, you guys don't say, oh, he's been gone for 2 weeks, channel dead. It isn't. I'm just doing real stuff, I need to take care of myself and my family, all that good stuff, being an adult. I want to live by myself, but my parents don't approve because, that's basically asking for trouble, and I completely understand. Totally. Well, anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a good day or good night.